Nachos. Happy Wednesday. Hope you guys are having a good week. Midweek. It is a short week in the dental world, so probably you spent yesterday saying, oh, it feels like Monday, and it's a Tuesday, so almost halfway there. And I'm so excited to bring you some Nacho talk with Ro from Zyris. Zyris is the company that makes one of my favorite products. There's going to be a sponsor for one of for our upcoming Dentist and Teen Boost Festival, which is just in 2 days here. They make the Isolite. I think of the Isolite, not joking, as one of my best friends in life. Treats me better than some of my real friends, always there for me. So I wanted to jump on here. One of the things we do here at Dental Nachos is bring good ideas to dentists, help you guys try something new, find out what we're doing, share during this Facebook Live. If you have any questions, you can reach out to us in the comments, and Farrah and I will talk. They'll tell me what you guys are asking. But I want to welcome Ro from Zyris. Now, you have a cool title, Ro. Tell us what you do for Zyris.
So my name is Rolando Mia. I am the Vice President of Customer Success and Strategic Accounts. So basically, I get to work with a broad range of clinicians, practices, and groups. So it's kind of cool. I get to play a lot.
That's great. I'm a multi-practice dental owner. I want a new title. It's going to be called President of Handling 100 Complaints a Day. So that's what I do. So Zyris makes the Isolite one of my favorite products. Tell us a little bit, what's cool about Dental Nachos is I actually want to catch you up on something, Ro. So
okay.
we have our own language. You work with dentists. We're special people, the dentist. We come in all different ages and stages. So if you're a baby age dentist, if you're in dental school up to 2 years out, you're a baby age dentist, which stands for bad. If you're a medium age dentist, which is me, 10 to 25 years out, you are a MAD. And if you are 25 years plus out, you are a seasoned age dentist, which I don't know if you're following along, stands for SAD. So we got bad, BADs, MADs, SADs. There's also CADs and TADs and GADs. We'll tell you about that. It's like a Dr. Seuss thing. But I'm setting up to say, we got people who've been dentisting for 1 day, up to 45 years in here. So some are not aware of what the Isolite does. So tell us a little bit about the history of the Isolite.
Awesome. So Isolite is a medical device. It was invented by Dr. Tom Hirsch, who practices full-time practice in Malibu. And when you look at the system, it was originally designed to help him get more visibility and access inside the mouth. When you look at the system today, what it's evolved to is basically, call it, as you mentioned, a clinician's best friend. Yeah. The system has two components: mouthpieces that are designed around basically the different sizes of patients' mouths, and then different control heads that enable you to manage it inside the mouth. When it's placed inside the mouth, you're able to see a lot of things better. You're able to treat your patient a lot better, but most importantly, your patient's a lot safer. And think of it as giving you and your team the ability to perform your procedures faster, get better outcomes, and then make your patient more comfortable. So that's what the system does.
I like that message, Ro, and I will nacho-ify it a bit. And Ariel was here with me. Ariel, if you go on our YouTube page, you'll find my Isolite video that I made. You can drop that into the comments. So I made a whole video about my best friend, the Isolite.
Right on.
And I teach a lot of courses. And years before I got you guys a sponsor, you owe me some back sponsor pay, so I'm going to send you a bill for that. Now I'm just
all right. Okay.
Years, well before Dental Nachos, well before Dr. Nacho, when I was a child age dentist myself, I would teach implant dentistry. I still do. I have to give my brother who works with me, Jeff Goodman, the credit for the Isolite, because I bought one of the initial Isolites, and I just changed the suctions, do all these different things, and I just didn't use it all the time. I used it occasionally. When he came into our practice, he was the third Goodman, and he always got the newer assistant. So I give him credit in 2008 for really embracing it. But I would tell my people I taught implant courses, we're working with small parts and pieces. You're always worried the patient's going to swallow them. So it prevents the patient from swallowing. So I just gave an implant course recently, and I asked, do you want a way to work faster, have your patient stop talking, and not worry about dropping something? And they say, yes, yes, yes. And I say, okay, well, then you should get a system like the Isolite and try it out. And and then your dentist, you work with our kind, they say, sounds great, sounds like it will make my life better, sounds like it'll make me happier, but what's it cost? What does it cost? And I told them to say to themselves, look in the mirror and say, you're worth it. So it's funny because I've been getting people to try it because that's what it does. It makes you work faster, prevents people from swallowing things, makes you look better as a dentist because patients aren't asking as many questions. You can get through your procedures. So I appreciate you sharing that with us. And the problem that, now, when was the Isolite invented? That's what I want to ask you a question.
So it was invented, actually the original system came out in 2002, and then the I2 with the light was in 2004. Something I forgot to mention, we are now actively partners with half of the dental schools across the US. And when you look at the incidence of patients and issues that they're running into, because the Isolite enables the clinicians to get really focused on and basically do the dentistry that they can do, because they're not worrying about the tongue, they're not worried about the patient swallowing things. Most importantly, they're not worried about contamination or moisture. They're able to perform their procedures more efficiently, and they get way better clinical outcomes. So the other thing too we've learned is that it's amazing, the incidences of patients getting their tongues cut or swallowing or aspirating in these dental schools has come down dramatically. So now the stress of worrying about what's going on, you mentioned it during your implant courses, it's phenomenal for any implants, especially with all the custom components and everything. If one of those gets dropped or swallowed, it kind of makes a very, simple and stress-free process, much more stress-free. You don't have to worry about that. So
Ro, but dentistry, super stressful. You're working on people who don't want to be there in a small mouth. As you said, it's like, I don't know why we signed up to be a dentist, because it's like, we're going to make you do these tiny procedures that can't get wet. Where are we going to do it? Oh, in the mouth, covered with saliva. So,
right.
And I would like to point out to my, my students, residents, I like to learn. There's so many good tools out there, and I've extracted a tooth with the Isolite. So one time I was extracting a tooth, and I said, man, I think this patient is going to swallow this tooth. I cannot get back there. So even though I didn't need any moisture control,
right.
I would like to share with the Nacho group, there's, because you haven't had the joy of dentisting, have you, Ro? You've never done a filling?
No, I am not a dentist. I play one on TV. No, I don't even do that.
I know you're jealous. You got to go all the way in the back of the mouth. You got to the tongues away, all those things. But I share with them that there's just something, when you're doing dentistry, you can sense the energy of the person sitting in the chair, whether you're a hygienist or dentist. Calm, relaxed, annoyed. That's a popular one, annoyed. But when you have the Isolite in, it just calms the patient down. And I think it's because they don't have to hold their jaw open. There is this interesting, people sleep with these sound machines. I just have my 9-month-old scream all night, same thing. But I think that the not having to hold your mouth open and just the noise is like this sound machine, and it calms patients down. You put sunglasses on the Isolite, so it's just as awesome. Now, I know what my dental people are thinking. Ro, the dentist, what do you call it? We're cheap people. We're cheap people, right? So what does it cost to get the Isolite in your office? If I said, hey, I have a new office, I want to get one Isolite, what is the investment I would have to make?
So there are two pieces to this. There's an upfront, and that depends on the type of system that you're looking for. And then there's the ongoing. So I'll start with the ongoing. Each one of the mouthpieces that you're going to see, which are individually wrapped, one-time use, they cost $2.75. And if you look at it, because they are one-time use only, you're one and you're done. They're individually sized for each one of your patients. And what's really, really powerful is when you present this to your patient, you can say, this is being taken out specifically for you, Paul, Dr. Goodman. When I open this, you are guaranteed no one has ever used this. And what this is going to do is it's going to make it a lot more comfortable, enable me to do my procedure a lot faster, and more importantly, you're going to be able to get a much better outcome when it comes to this. $2.75.
Hey, bro, don't waste that $2.75. Send it to me. I'll use it on myself there, I'm a dentist. I want to make sure I can save. So $2.75 per use, and then what's...
And then, depending on the systems that you decide to invest in, the premium system is called the Isolite III. And the Isolite III is the one that we just very recently introduced. This has an incredible system, and what we've done is it's an evolution of the original Isolite II. It's got two different types of lights. A white light, which is designed to enable you to see everything. And then we added, because a lot of people were asking for it, an amber light. It's 590 nanometers. It doesn't cure any of the resins, the composites, the adhesives that you have out there. So that now you can place your restoration and you can mess with it. It's funny, one of the dental assistants came to me and she said, "I'm mad at you." Why? My dentist, she's a perfectionist. And before, once we started placing it, she'd have to hurry to get that done. Now, she turns on your amber light and she'll take 5-10 minutes to get it perfect. And now I have to sit there and I have to wait for her. And it's just hilarious. But this is around, the retail price of this is around $1,900. So that's a premium system.
Gotcha. And that comes with the light. And
that comes with the light. And then you've got another one. This is a sample, but it's an ISO dry. This does everything that other does, but there's no light in it. And that's around $1,300 retail. So what you're looking at is an investment around $1,000 to $2,000 up front, and then $2.75 per patient.
And what I would like to share is that $2.75 pays itself back in two ways. One, you're going to no matter, I know dentists, no matter how fast you are, you do a filling in 60 minutes, you do a filling in 30 minutes, it's going to make you faster because there's just less breaks. So that's going to make you money. It's going to make you and your assistant happier because your assistant can focus on other things. I need an assistant for anything. I mean, just walk in the operatory, I would like my assistant. But sometimes if an assistant has to get up during a procedure, they can go do something and come back. That's not a problem in our office. We have the ability to, we have one assistant per dentist. But if you're working for 15 minutes on a tooth, the assistant can get the next thing ready. I noticed that you were going to ask me, does it disrupt your workflow? Or, are dental assistants concerned that the Isolite will replace them? And I don't understand that at all, because the Isolite cannot, greet patients, seat patients, anticipate your next step, sterilize instruments, be your right-hand person. I think of the Isolite as a friend not only to you, but a friend to your assistant.
So it's funny that you mentioned that. Probably the two biggest things, first of all, you hit it. It's a little disruptive when you first get it. What happens is you and your dental assistant have been working together for 5 years, 10 years. You get into a rhythm. When you add Isolite to your practice, all of a sudden, you're introducing something a little bit different. It's kind of like going from an Android to an iPhone, or each evolution. It takes a little bit to kind of get used to it. But once you do, it's astounding. As a matter of fact, the dental assistants love the system even more than the dentists. And 3 reasons why. Number one, when they're working, it enables the dental assistant to actually detach from the dentist. And by doing that, you mentioned it, they're able to do other things, they're able to get ahead, they're able to anticipate. The second thing it does is it's no longer, when you're working inside the mouth, your dental assistant is not having to retract the tongue or evacuate. So now you have the beauty of working by yourself inside the mouth, and they're not getting in your way. So now you're not getting that look, which is get out of my way, and then you get yelled at because you're not evacuating.
I mean, I grew up working with my dad. He passed away a few years ago, but he was an awesome dad and dentist. And I would come and suction, and it's not easy to assist. I was very good at suctioning the tongue. I could do that. But, it's difficult, and the Isolite really is the ideal way to work sort of with focus, because sometimes I say to my assistant, pull back, do this, because it's not easy to hold that suction there. So I find it to be an assistant's friend. Now, you do have a kind offer. Any dental nachoer, the sponsor, can get $100 off. You can drop that in the comments. Just mention dental nachos and say something nice about me. That's not necessary, but you can do it anyway. And go to Zyris.com, and you can get any product for $100 off. I know lights have become very popular, so some people like the ISO Dry because they use their own headlight, and then other people use the Isolite. Tell me a little bit about who are the dentists who've adopted it? General dentists, pediatric dentists, any other growing segment of users for Isolite?
So yeah, by far the biggest are the pediatric dentists, and the reason it has to do with they have a very short window to treat a patient, a child, and because children don't fully understand what's going on, they're kind of fidgety, they're not paying attention. You've got the parents sitting there, they have a small little mouth, they're like waterfalls of fluid. Place the actual mouthpiece inside the mouth. 1, it calms the patient down. 2, nothing goes down the throat, they're not swallowing anything. And then 3, you have access inside there. You're not having to fight with your dental assistant. So it works wonderful there. General practitioners, any kind of restorative, crown and bridge, it is the best, especially for posterior. Anytime you're dealing with any kind of adhesive, any kind of resin, any kind of composite that you're working on, works phenomenal because the tongue's out of the way. Probably the biggest thing that we've heard, you're working on a crown, you do the prep, you do the most beautiful prep on the planet, your dental assistant leaves to get the crown ready and hands it to you, and you tell your patient, don't swallow, don't touch, and what does your patient do? Close the mouth, they do something crazy, and now you're thinking, oh boy, and now you gotta hurry because you gotta redo it. With Isolite, they can't get there.
I've lived that life, it's joyful, I'm angry inside my body, but to the patient, you have to pretend everything's fine, and people do act it.
Yeah, you're putting on the face.
Open as wide as you can. That's close, man, you know, don't stick your tongue out, you know, so I agree with you. I have a couple things to share. One, so my dentist, the dentists who I spend my life helping, I'm one of them. I know, first, we're frugal people, right? So we've explained the value, right? The long-term ROI. Also, sometimes dentists are not frugal, but they're gonna say this. Some patients won't tolerate the Isolite. Some patients don't like it, but here's what I have to say. Most patients tolerate it just fine when you explain the why. This is gonna keep things dry, make us work faster. I always do that. No one's ever asked to be at the dentist longer, okay? Make us work faster and make the work last longer. But some people give me, you know, what you call grief, right? They don't want it in their mouth. So first, I have two things. One, I say to them, we don't have to use the Isolite, but the work is not gonna last as long without it, because it's true. I mean, can't get contaminated. Two, I've learned that assistants are better at putting it in the mouth than I am. So my brother's done a great job training every assistant. Maybe assistants are more gentle, maybe they're more nurturing, I'm not sure. But also, if you're having trouble getting patients, you know, they're gagging or this, we've trained our assistants, but one of my questions for you is, what are some tools that you guys offer at Zyris to help offices to get up and running, or some training or videos? What do you guys do?
Yeah, so, and thank you for asking about that. First of all, education, training, the most important thing. And one of the key aspects of this is effectively placing that mouthpiece. You mentioned it. Some people fear, or what happens is inadvertently they're gagging the patient. And when that happens, we found it's because we haven't been effective in showing the technique for actually placing the mouthpiece. One of the things that we offer, and a lot of things we offer, first of all, there are a whole host of videos on our site, Zyris.com, where you can see mouthpiece placement, where you can see all the tips and tricks related to that. The key in mouthpiece placement is to keep it away from the back of the tongue and the palate. And once you get the technique in, it works really, really nicely. The second thing that we offer is anytime somebody invests in our system, we put them through what we call 8 Steps to Awesome. And 8 Steps to Awesome is we will take as long as you need as a clinician and your team to explain to you how to use the system, how to get it connected, and then most importantly, what's involved with actually sizing your patient and then placing the mouthpiece in a manner that doesn't inadvertently gag the patient. Yeah. The final thing with regard to gagging patients, think of it as this, and it's phenomenal. This was actually designed for gagging patients. They're the ones who love it the most. And the reason is this. The thing that elicits that gag response a lot of times is when you're reaching to the back of the tongue or the palate, and when your dental assistant is retracting or trying to keep that tongue out of the way, especially for someone who's a gagger, it's a lot to take. Once this is placed inside the mouth, they can actually relax. They can rest their mouth open. The tongue has a place to go. They can swallow. They can use their tongue to even evacuate fluid through that bite block, so that now they have control of their mouth, and it makes things so much easier. So that's what we do. And then you can call us anytime. And like this forum, we'll get on a Zoom video with you, and we'll make sure that not only do you and your assistants understand, but we will reinforce and cover tips and tricks as often as you need. No problem.
I love that. A couple take-home messages. I love 8 Steps to Awesome. You know, that is great. I love the training. I mean, what I encourage my dentists to do here, and I like to learn from them too, try something new, recognize that something like this can have an impact on your practice forever, and I'll share a few whys. We have multiple associates working for us, out of residency programs. Training dental assistants is difficult. You're playing musical dental assistants. So when you have a tool that can, one of my catchphrases, Ro, is everything that matters needs a system, and everything matters. So when we have an associate, they don't get to choose if they want to use the Isolite. They have to use the Isolite. And the reason is I want the patients to feel confident in them, and it increases patient confidence because you're working faster and the patients aren't afraid of swallowing things. And the story that I would like to end on is, when I was dating my wife, she was a kindergarten teacher, and teachers, they can only ever get their teeth cleaned the last week of the year. Ariel knows. Last week of the year or the summer. They're off the grid for the rest of life, right? So we went in for cleaning when we were dating, maybe about a year, and I checked her on hygiene, and she had 2 cavities. And I said, oh, man, I got to do them now, right? 2 small ones.
So you were treating your wife, your girlfriend.
She wasn't my wife at the time, but I know the teacher schedule. I can't tell her to come back. So I said, all right, get out the Isolite to my assistant. We'll do these 2 small fillings. Then we'll go get pizza. And I wanted to do it quickly. It was just like, 3 occlusal, 30 occlusal, something like that. And I put it in, and I did it. And when I took it out, my wife looked at me, and she goes, I really like that contraption. I think because I was working fast, I didn't really even explain what we were doing. So she never had it done in her whole life. And I said, oh, why did you like it? She goes, because my whole life, I was worried I was going to move my tongue, and the dentist was going to cut it. So that was a patient. Most patients won't share that with you, but anything that we can do to improve their experience is great. So, go to Zyris.com. Ariel put that in the links. $100 off for Nacho, or city part of your Nacho membership. With no one pays for it. It's a free membership. Is to get $100 off. Try it in your office. Ro, you're an awesome guy to talk to. Any parting words for the Nacho Nation dentist? Anything for us?
Well, first of all, Dr. Paul Goodman, thank you so much. Really so appreciate the real strength behind our system are our dentists, our partners in this, and you clearly understand and very much appreciate you taking the time to do this with us, and it's huge you sharing the experiences you have with us. Dr. Hirsch is adamant. He wants to leave a legacy. He wants dentists to make things easier. One quick story. I was at a show, one of the older dentists, one of the sad dentists, I guess.
Yeah, so you got it. You got the lingo down. Sad. I like that.
And he hugged me, and he started looking at me, and I thought, he goes, because of you, I'm still doing dentistry. I said, excuse me, I don't understand. It got to the point where I was so frustrated with everything. I couldn't find a good dental assistant, and when I did, they didn't last, and patients were just driving me crazy. I put that in there. I can do my dentistry. I'm no longer stressed, and I'm able to do the job that I know I can. And he said, thank you. Profound. It was incredible.
That's a great story. I'm glad you shared that. I was just at my implant course, and I had about 30 dentists there, mad, sads, and bads. And at the end of my course, people go around and say what they would do. And it's amazing. I talked about implants, planning cases, and 2 of the sad dentists said, I'm going to go get the Isolite, because I think what we can't appreciate is, I remember from my dad, decades of doing dentistry is stressful. So for them, it's not about the $1,200 or the $2,000 or $3. They say, oh man, you have something where I can go into my office and be less stressed, and that really is priceless. So I appreciate you guys sharing with us. You guys are a great collaborator with us. We'll get more nachos. So you got to come to Philly and have some cheesesteaks. And
I'm going to take you up on that. And if you're ever in and around Santa Barbara, come see us. Any of the nachos, please let us know. It'd be great to see you.
Awesome, Ro. Well, have a good rest of the day. Thanks for sharing with Zyris.com, and I just really appreciate it.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Thanks, Ro.
Have a great rest of your week.
You too.